Cleveland will have to choose which of the two balls that he started the innings with they will continue with until the end of the innings. That happens after this one. Pretty damp at the moment. How about defensive shot from Hassan Nawaz, 165 for 4. Which one is it? And the West Indies will choose to go along with. The interesting choice if Port would drive.
Oh, I didn't put it wrong.
Yes, so we running live on YouTube right now. Top of our fans. So we're gonna be waiting for people to jump in the chat. Join us live. West Indies versus Pakistan. Sam, did you get to watch West Indies innings?
Not all of it. Not all of it. I was on the road for most of it, I would say. So I was listening in and out as best as I could. Yeah. I think the story for me was we just didn't put enough runs on the board. The start was good, was decent. A pity King, didn't get any start today. But I think we must be grateful for Lewis and Chase and Hope, putting some runs up.
I'm disappointed they didn't carry on because all three of them got out at critical points,
right,
where they needed to push on. Needed the 3 shots needed to be played at that set time. I just thought a bit more care could have been used.
Right.
So
of the 3, which of the 3 you thought was the most ridiculous shot?
Shea Hopes.
Yeah.
Shea Hopes was I thought the shot was on for Evan and Roston. The shots that they tried to play was on. It's just the amount of care that they took with the shot. With Shea Hope, it was just a rash hack. And it was very unlike him. Typically when he gets to fit between the areas of 50 and 70, there's a lot more care shown with how he bats. Because you actually see him making an effort of trying to take it deep. The point where he got out 40 overs, just for the first over, I thought, you have time. Because we still ended up at 280. Had we not lost that rush of wickets, it could have very well been 340.
340?
Yeah, I think 340.
I think so.
Yeah,
that's a big ask. But this ground, this is what, the second ODI ever or something on this ground, if I understand it.
I didn't check the weight name,
Yeah, I don't think this ground. So I bring that up because in terms of the history of it and what expectations are. But 340, that's a big one, man. But again, I'm not questioning your position.
So when you look at when you look at where they were when Evan got out,
right,
and how he was batting, it was easy, right? When you look at when Shea Hope got out, that was we had just gotten to 200.
Right.
He had struck that boundary and we had just gotten to 200. There's nothing that tells me if we have the right people at the crease, with 5 overs left, we can't score 7 to 8 runs, right? All you need is the right people. Moti did what I thought Moti would do. Even to him, I thought he could have taken some more care with the shot that he played and got out with. Not too sure what he was, because he was
I don't know. You see, I saw that. I saw that one. Yes, I did. I think he himself was clearly upset with himself, if I recall clearly. I don't know. At that point in time, I would say scoreboard pressure. And I know when we talk about scoreboard pressure, it's normally for the team batting second, right? But I think for West Indies, based on this summer, how this summer has gone, I think West Indies is always under scoreboard pressure.
Yeah.
So, but at that time, you would want to think that, yeah, Moti, you want to see the overs through, because he got out one, like the 47th, I think. 48. Yeah, 48 over. No, sorry, 49th.
The 49th over.
Yeah, 49th. So I don't know. I won't put too much pressure on that shot, because
I'm not going to be too harsh on Moti, because what did he bat at, 8 or 9?
Yeah, he batted at 8. Came in at 8.
He gave you 30-odd runs in a short amount of time.
The highest strike rate for the West Indies.
Yeah.
172. So
he did his job.
Yeah. I can't fault him.
So that's why I was disappointed, even though we got 60 from Evan Lewis, 55 from Hope, 53 from from Chase. I think they could have taken more care after getting to those points. Because what was happening, one was bringing 2. Right. Every time we lost the wicket, it brought another one. So you're putting yourself under pressure.
Yep.
109 from 90 balls, 8 or 9 balls. I think we need a wicket right now. I think we need a wicket right now.
Yeah, getting wickets at certain key periods or consistently, that's been a struggle, So what do you think about Moti's bowling tonight?
I thought Moti's bowled well. I thought Moti's bowled well. 1 for 41, 9.3. Especially after.
But there still seems to be a concern in terms of how much pace he's putting on the ball.
Yeah.
Or was it? I don't know.
I still think he needs to, because this is a wicket you can slow it down, right? I still think he's going a bit too fast, and it's a matter of patience for him, right? Because when you can see when he's taking his time, when he's giving it some loop, it's causing problems.
Right.
It's causing problems, and just trust yourself.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of trusting yourself.
But he did get the main man. That's boy, you could see Babar was going for that 50. That was the 50 shot, chipping down there.
That was indeed. Indeed, that was a 50 shot. So things coming down the pipeline. In terms of ICC, they're looking at it looks like the 2-tier system could very well become a reality in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on West Indies? Because I'm sure they're gonna place us in tier 2.
All right, I'll answer the question by going to our what's his name? Jared Kimber, is it?
Yeah, Jared Kimball.
Yeah, well respected. I see he has a book on batting. Maybe one of these days I need to pick it up and find the time to go through it. So remember what, some time back I had questioned, him asking, should West Indies still be playing, the Australias and Englands and so on, simply because they were good 4 decades ago, right? And I took a bit of umbrage to that statement. No offense to the fella, he's highly knowledgeable about cricket from what I've heard, his commentary, what have you. But what I would say is that, look, 2 things can happen. Number one, West Indies can be moved to tier 2. I don't see, us being in tier 1 to start off, unless they broaden the amount of teams they have in tier 1. I wouldn't argue for that, right? So I don't mind West Indies being in tier 2. However, I still do feel that certain tournaments should still be played. What do I mean by that? The Frank Worrell Trophy, right? So we can have the best of both worlds. We can still have, yes, the Frank Worrell Trophy, but in terms of the Test Championship situation, we have 2 levels. All right. So if we play the Frank Worrell Trophy every 5 years, I can, well, maybe not every 5, maybe 3, 4, I don't know, but not as frequently as we do now. I can live with that,
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe every 4 years, because remember we have to go down to Australia for one of those series, and then the Australians would have to come out here. So if they come out here once every decade or something like that, I think we can live with that. You see, because when I heard of the tiers, I understand the argument for it, but the legacy of West Indies cricket, I don't want that to die. And the Frank Worrell Trophy is the thing. And of course, us playing with England too. In fact, as you know, I am looking forward to 2028.
Yeah.
God's spare my life. I would love to be at Lord's in 2028. Yeah. So fans, you can all start thinking about heading down to Lord's in 2028. So I would be upset if, this new arrangement comes into place and we cannot celebrate 100 years of West Indies cricket at Lord's, So that's my initial comments on that. I don't mind us being at tier 2, but I want us to keep certain tournaments alive, like the Frank Worrell series.
Yeah. My take with it, relegation promotion has to be part of the tiered system, right? Because just like how you can say, oh, not because West Indies have this rich legacy of 30 years ago, should mean that they're owed a spot in tiered 1. The same way, not because England has been part of cricket and they have a rich legacy and all, because they're the ones that's complaining, oh, well, we don't really know about this, because they're afraid they'll get relegated. That's the obvious thing, because with that comes the money aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right. They're afraid that, okay, they will lose series like playing against Australia and India primarily. They don't care about anybody else. That's the 2 series that they're afraid that they're going to lose. That is nobody's business. If you want to make it equitable, you want to make it fair across the board, then everybody should be subjected to, if you don't play well in tier 1, you're relegated to tier 2. And you work your way back. You have a chance to work your way back up. There's no way England, people are not going to go to the grounds in England and watch the games. There's no way England are going to lose their fan base and their TV
Right.
money, you know,
Right.
there's no way.
Yeah.
They have enough, you know, the commercial aspect will still be viable for them.
Correct.
You know, so I don't understand, because they're one of the ones that are afraid of it. Cricket Australia said, hey, we're cool. Right? England is the only one that is saying, no, that if it's good for other teams, it's good for you.
Correct.
It's good for you.
Yeah, because in order to establish the different tiers, we're doing it on an equitable basis, in the sense of, I'm going to say equitable basis, not based on, or you know, the development of a country, but based on performance.
Yeah.
Performance is what is dictating where you are to start off this process. So, yeah, why should it be an issue? But so the world set, you know.
Yeah,
yeah. But for a long time to come, India is going to be at the forefront of international cricket. I mean, the series in
looks like Shamar has just picked up a wicket. Shamar has delivered.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this past month and change
Right.
is the best I've ever seen Shamar bowl in his whole international career, however brief it is.
It has been right.
Because he's even bowled well in the T20s against Pakistan in Florida.
Right.
And he's been
well. I'll tell you what. When he got bowled today, I know in his trademark way, he looked up at the bowler and smiled. In my mind, I'm thinking, boy, he's just waiting for his time to go at the Pakistani batters, right?
Yeah. Absolutely love this patience today, bowling man. He hasn't gone looking for anything, you know, and he's been really real patient with his lines and lengths, and which was something last year and when he first started where he struggled because he's gone looking for it.
Right. Then of course that first wicket of his, man, he was like saying to the umpire, like, what? You can't be serious. It's like,
you can't be serious.
When you see that reaction from a bowler, you know it's like, yeah, that's gotta be right.
It was bang on.
No question, man. No question.
Bang on. Ball was hitting middle stump. Same again here. And they got the danger man.
And he got a danger man too, Rizwan, right?
Got the danger man, Rizwan. Because Rizwan is noted for finishing the game. He's noted for finishing games. He's a really good finisher.
Yeah.
Because I know Babar and Rizwan was going to get some runs. It was just a matter of if they were going to score half centuries, you don't allow them to score big half centuries, right?
Right.
You don't want
like 80 thereabout, yeah.
90 thereabout. You get them early.
Because you imagine if the two of them scored 80 each, that's already 160.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the man, he played a captain's innings. But you know what's interesting though about their batting, which is good for us, is that their strike rates, the highest strike rates for them right now is Salman Aga, who had 88.46. Yeah. Babar and Rizwan in the 70s in terms of strike rates. So, but you know, one of the concerns or a question, was West Indies short one spinner tonight?
I don't think so.
Would you? No. Okay. And here's another question. Whenever you're going into a day-night match, in conditions where the dew factor is likely to be an issue, I was wondering if, in those conditions, you want to be, careful to say, all right, let's ensure we have enough an extra spinner or so that can, because in my view the spinners would have more control, with dealing with the Jew as opposed
Actually,
to
it's
the
more
pacers.
difficult for them because they got a
More
grip and rip.
difficult.
Yeah, they got a grip and rip, right? So a lot of times you see when spinners struggling, they're trying to get the ball dry,
Right.
because you see what happens with this ball is when it's wet, it kind of get like slippery.
Right.
The material gets very kind of like slippery. So when you're trying to rip it,
it's not. Oh, okay. It can.
You're getting the friction.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So
I thought it affected both bowlers, but the slow bowlers had a better chance of, because they're not coming fast. They have better control. That was my reason. Okay.
The spinners are the ones who struggle the most.
Right. So okay. Well, if we take it that way, then not a question then.
Because they tried it, they got their rags and they're dry and they're dry and they're dry and they're dry, because they want to get the ball dry so they can get some purchase.
Right.
As a pacer, yes, there's the risk of the ball slipping out your hands and you get full toss, but you're more able to. There's things you can do. Cut your pace down. Ball cutters.
Right.
Just focus on a line and a length.
Okay.
But for a spinner, you want to be ripping the ball. You want to be ripping it. You want to be ripping it. And that seam
I just don't have enough.
Raises up and gets kind of slippery.
Because I saw, Moti feverishly. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I get that. But okay.
Yeah. There's
I think Blades was bringing sawdust off the boundary or something, and ensuring they had enough of that.
I thought Chase and Moti was sufficient for tonight.
In terms of
what we needed.
Wasn't a deal breaker for me. I just thought, I wonder.
Yeah, when I looked at it,
that was consideration.
I was like, okay, Chase and I can live with this. I didn't have an issue with the two of them.
Right.
Especially given the fact that both of them made runs. Chase is bowled really well, man. So, as soon as I give him a compliment, he serves up one in the slot.
Commentators course.
I guess. So Red's comment on that show with what's the Jamaican guy's name? The new podcaster that used to be on Sports Max.
I don't remember his name, but he goes by Mr. Analyst, I think it is.
Mr. Analyst. Yeah. All right, we'll work with Mr. Analyst.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Yeah.
So if I got what Red said right, he's wanting CARICOM subcommittee to meet with Cricket West Indies to pretty much dictate change.
Continue.
and I'm trying to figure out, is that the precedent that we want to set with the CARICOM subcommittee? Is that the route we want to go with having, because that's essentially political interference, right? You don't want the last thing you want is politicians start dictating what kind of changes you are making. As we have always talked about, if you want the governments to be involved, but you want them to be involved at the levels that they can be involved in terms of school, making sure the grounds in the different communities are taken care of, and the proper resources are made available. You don't want them people start talking about what changes need to be made right now with the West Indies team.
And the other thing too, the politicians in West Indies cricket, I don't know how many of them really care to be dealing much with cricket. You see?
Yeah.
I think Reds is still, with all due respect to him, right? I do believe he's stuck in an era where pretty much every West Indian politician was deeply invested in cricket. Some of them played the game.
Yeah.
Some of them wrote books on the game.
Yeah.
Coming back to Michael Manley and a history of West Indies cricket. So with the very many issues facing these islands, whether it is, budget issues, how do we pay for school and pay for roads and pay for education, right? And then to consider cricket and to come up with ideas for that, I don't know. And we also know too that the ICC is very careful when it comes to political interference or what have you. And forgive me for using the word interference here, but what I think governments can do, notwithstanding the resources or limited resources available to them, start at the school level. See how much you can promote the game at the school level. That would help with the grassroots thing. If you can go into communities and do things, I think in Barbados there is the block by block tournament. I don't know much about it, but I've been hearing about it in and out. So you do little things, right? But what and I could be wrong here, but from what I picked up from what Reds was saying, it's more of a greater involvement in terms of dictating what happens at Cricket West Indies. You see? And so I don't know if that would sit well with the ICC, for example, if that would, align with their position on government's involvement in the sport. So,
like you said, much respect to Reds. Reds has been in this game for probably about 70 years or however long, roundabout, and I think there's a lot of emotion invested in West Indies cricket on his part, and rightly so. 27 should disturb you, right? I don't think at any point anyone would think that 27 is not disturbing. But you have to think about what brought us to 27. And I think that's the part that Reds is missing, right? What got us there? This 27 didn't just show up miraculously. 27 was 96 against Kenya in 1996, right? 51 against Australia in 1999. 48 against England in was that 2004, right? So 27 just didn't show up like that. And I would have expected him to go along the lines of talking about the structural fixes that we need, right? because what is really wrong with West Indies cricket is everything at the foundations of it.
Yeah.
That is where the game has actually crumbled. The game didn't crumble up top. The game crumbled at the bottom. Because to this day, have we truly replaced Gordon Greenwich? Have we truly replaced Desmond Haynes? Sir Vivian Richards? I mean, you can argue Brian Lara, but have we replaced Brian Lara? Right? Have we replaced Jeffrey Dujan? So that is where I have a problem, because what is coming through the ranks, we're not having the replacements, and that is where we have got to take a look, not what we have at the international scene right now, because coaching has to be an issue that has to be looked at. The administration of the game at the territorial level has to be looked at. And I'm mystified that none of these things he's really talked about. There's poor management of the game in all the territories. That is the reason why we're here. Cricket West Indies can't dictate the game in all the territories. It's not their place.
Yeah.
Then why do we have territorial boards? Right? So I have a hard time, seeing his logic with just it just looks like the blame is squarely laid at the foot of Cricket West Indies and Darren Sammy. Because here's the other thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Okay, Sammy came in and made changes. Right? This is 3 test matches into Darren Sammy's tenure. Andre Coley was the coach of the West Indies team for the better part of 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How many test matches did Andre Coley win? 1 against Australia.
Pakistan.
One against Pakistan.
Bangladesh.
One against Bangladesh. And 1 against Zimbabwe. Those 4 test matches in 3 years. We didn't win a series, right? Now,
but a draw for West Indies in this era is as good as a win, a drawn series.
and I agree with that, especially given the fact that it was against Australia, right? But I don't think he necessarily advanced the West Indies team, right? It was the odd victory.
Right.
There was no dominance. Okay, you had good sessions, you had good moments, but it never equated to a series victory. So 3 matches into Sammy's reign, and you're saying, "Oh, fire him." So you're not going to give him a chance to go against India. You're not going to give him a chance to go against New Zealand. I would like people to tell me how many test matches India has won in the last 2 years. That's what I would like people to tell me. How many test matches India have won in the last 2 years? India with all their money. India with all their money. Now, West Indies are not New Zealand. New Zealand recently went there and swept India in a 3-match series.
Yeah. But would you say India was going through some sort of transition per se?
So yes,
especially with different people retiring, and there must have been, I don't know, maybe different factions in the in terms of who people wanted to be captain and so on, and those distractions might have cost them, and then to add to that, after the heroics in England, would you say the team is now settled?
I wouldn't say the team is now settled. Well, let me start from where you started. The team was going through a phase of transition because you had Kohli kind of tailing off. Same thing with Rohit Sharma and a couple of other players, Ashwin and all these guys, right? So it was a case of India going into a transition phase and looking to, and I think there's still some more transitioning that needs to be done because I don't see Jadeja playing too much longer, right? I think he's about 36 years old now, if I'm not mistaken. He's still one of the holdovers from the Kohli generation, right?
Yeah.
So there was a transitioning. Now, the series in England, I wouldn't say it has made them settled. I thought they played pretty well, right? Given the fact that some of those players have never really been part of the test team. You know, a lot of them are finding their way. There's their second, third matches. You know, they gave a good account to themselves to come back. Statistically, batting, they did phenomenally well. Now, how long can they replicate that performance? That is going to be the thing, right? What happens when they go when they come up against Australia in the not too distant future? Australia is supposed to go to in India in a little bit down the road because Australia is sending their A team down there.
Yeah.
So let's see how long they can replicate that performance against England.
All I'm gonna say is this: Test cricket is alive
and well
and exciting.
Yeah. And long may it live, because there's a lot of people, because in recent times there have been polls of players, right? And every year the poll has shown less and less cricketers are favoring test cricket. I got some stats in my phone. I'll pull it up and share it with you guys later down. It's on the Cricket Info website, I think, also. But less and less players are favoring test cricket. But ever so often we get a timely reminder of why it is the best format. Ever so often.
Yeah.
So people can have the T20s and they lick it and they can, but the world is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Saturated with T20 cricket. It has lost its gloss, right? When you look at when you look into a lot of stands now, the crowds that you used to see for T20 cricket, you don't see it anymore. Certain teams that attract,
right,
certain crowds. But let's take, for instance, the ILT20 in Dubai. That tournament is pretty much played in front of empty stadiums. You understand? Even right here in the in the West Indies, there when in the CPL, only certain teams pack out crowds. Amazon Warriors pack out crowds, TKR pack out crowds, right?
Yeah.
But teams like St. Kitts and I think Antigua, Barbuda, the Falcons, they're the new franchise there. They don't pack out the crowds. They have reasonable crowds. But CPL truly makes their money in Guyana and Trinidad.
Yeah.
That's where they make their money. Speaking of which, also I see Jamaica is looking to get a franchise within the next 2 years.
Well, I think probably as early as next year.
As early as next year, yeah.
I've been one of the things I've heard. It's not a new statement, by the way, but it has been repeated so very often I think we've all come to the position that it's true. And it's this position that T20 cricket is destroying cricket generally, and in particular, Test cricket, right? So when we look at the Caribbean, you hear people, I do believe even Red Pereira especially would say, you know, T20 has destroyed West Indies cricket. Now, I'm not going to answer the question as to whether T20 has done damage to the global game. I'm not going to go there. But in terms of it damaging West Indies cricket, I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that I agree with that. What I do believe has been the problem comes back again to grassroots cricket. What is happening at those levels? Because when we look at the Indias and the and Australias and what have you, their cricket is still doing well. You look at New Zealand, which 4 decades ago had a win-loss ratio that was worse than the West Indies. They turned things around. Yes, we know they had some dramatic changes in terms of the governance of their cricket. We get that, right? But I do believe when you look at the grassroots level of New Zealand cricket, you will see some good things happening. But again, we're talking about New Zealand. They have the resources to put into cricket at schools and what have you. While here in the Caribbean, did you hear about the bowling machine with only 2 legs? You heard that story? All right. These are the things we contend with here. So I don't know that I support this view that, you know, it's T20 that has mashed up our cricket or has significantly impacted our cricket. It must have had an impact, but I don't believe it has had this big an impact on our cricket. I think there are all the different other factors that we talk about from time to time. That's my view. I don't know if you agree with that or disagree.
T20 cricket has taken a toll on West Indies cricket, but not in the way that people want to say, right? Here, this is the reason why it has taken a toll on West Indies cricket. Because it is the only thing people started to focus on instead of letting T20 cricket be an offshoot of proper cricket, meaning red ball cricket, right? So over time, what you saw was that every corner, let's take Guyana for instance, there's always a T10 here, a T20 here, a T10 here, and no red ball cricket really being played. So that is how the cricket destroyed our T20 cricket destroyed our cricket, because it's of where the focus went. Now, had they been focusing on red ball cricket like they needed to, and minimize, I should say, the amount of T20 cricket being played, respecting that it has a place in the cricketing landscape right now, but you don't want that to be the only thing being played. So if T20 cricket and T10 cricket is being played, how do you expect the player to tailor their games to that form of cricket, right? If I'm not playing 2-day, 3-day cricket, I'm being fed a healthy diet of T20 or T10 cricket, so this is what you're going to get from me. So now when these players are asked to go play in I'm going to use Guyana as the example. When they're being asked to go and play red ball cricket at the inter-county level, guess what you're going to see? You're going to see a T20 mentality. When they go to play for Guyana, or they go to play for Trinidad or whoever, you're going to see a T20 mentality. You're going to get a quick 40, a quick 50, and people are going to be, boy, no man look good. There's going to be the occasional centuries and, you know, little sightings of substance, and then you're gonna be like, he's ready for West Indies cricket, and then you put him on the international level.
Well, I'll tell you, I take your point in that. I do. And recognizing too, the white ball is not going to give you the movement you find with the red ball, right? So it's not going to trouble the batsman, right? It's easier now to, of course, make runs with it. But here is why I've been questioning all the blame placed there. And again, I take your point, valid points, right? Why I am a little more quote unquote lenient with white ball cricket, or in particular T20 or T10 or what have you, is that it still keeps the excitement of cricket. You see? First and foremost, people have got to be excited about the game and enjoy the game. Think about, you as a youngster in Top War, on the concrete road. Right?
Hey, that's some big matches on them streets of Tugborough, by.
Right? There you go. So there was, and listen, I sure people going about the chores and they're watching and they might joke and say, hey, Kevin, mind my windows or whatever, right?
You had enough time.
and you go about your thing. But even then, they understand is, you're having fun. Is, you could have been out doing some other crazy thing, but you're playing cricket and they love it, right? One time I hit Pop's louver, he didn't even complain about it.
Yeah.
Right? Just have a little crack. Anyway. So for me, it's the exciting part, the excitement part of it, that people are still playing cricket. And if T20 is what brings them to the game, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
However, when we look now at the grassroots level, we look at schools and what have you, coaching. So I would want that our young cricketers are taught the fundamentals from early to the point where T20 cricket is not going to corrupt them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I was listening to the West Indies Academy coach. He was recently on Kyron Powell's podcast.
Correct.
And he was speaking about how things are done in terms of development in New Zealand. This is especially after the Reds had questioned the man's ability.
Oh, the Sri Lankan
Yes.
coach get questioned? Really?
Yes, he was on I forget which podcast he was on, and he had questioned, the
Rez was on Powell's podcast too. I wonder if that's where he questioned it. I don't know.
I think that's the podcast that he was on when he questioned Ramesh Subasinghi's accreditations and all this kind of stuff, right? And that's why I say, with all due respect to Reds, I sometimes you need to know when to leave the dance floor. Right? Sometimes you need to know when to leave the dance floor, because then when you get to a certain point, you start saying and doing things that are no longer rational, right? The guy, based on what I've seen from the West Indies Academy in recent times, he has them playing a certain brand of cricket, right? You can see he's coaching based on what you're seeing on the field. You can see he's coaching, and that's what coaches are supposed to do. I absolutely hate it when coaches go like, oh, he's not good enough or she's not good enough. That's your job. You're supposed to coach. Your job is to get X player from one spot to the next. That's your job. Your job is to make them better. So instead of discarding a player, how much did you work with them? But back to the topic of New Zealand. He was saying there are a lot less players in New Zealand than they are in the West Indies.
Registered cricketers or something.
Players.
Yeah.
Right.
That one was a revelation.
That was a revelation for me. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
And he mentioned every dollar that is put into development of each player is very targeted.
Correct. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. So I had said to Chris Derring, I think it was, when him and I and Yagaro were on that podcast sometime last year.
Yeah.
Even though India have over 1 million or how much registered cricketers, and Australia got in excess of 300,000, and England however many 100,000. I said the small numbers that we have should be easier to manage.
Yeah.
That is how I look at it, right? Okay, you have 6,000 cricketers. What do we need to do? Out of those 6,000, what do we need to do for West Indies to have a system whereby we can see the next 3 players in terms of, okay, if I lose Craig Brathwaite, who is his replacement? Right? If I lose his replacement, who is his replacement? In terms of a depth chart, right? At every level, we should be able to have a core set of players at the senior level, at the A-team level, at the academy level, at the under 19 level. We should be able to look and say, well, this is our pool. This is our, whether it's 35, 40 players or whatever that we have, right? And the same thing goes through all the levels. We should be able to say, look, definitively, and based on our investment, we are looking to produce this amount of players. I don't think that should be hard. But if we look at it and we go, oh, well, we only got 6,000 players. It's easier for them to produce because they have 1 million. That is understood, right? But what are we doing to ensure that we get at least from the senior team to on the 15 level? What are we doing to ensure that we have about 150 players in that pool, right? Naturally, it's going to dwindle itself down because some players are just going to naturally they're going to fall off as they get up in levels. It just happens, right? Not everybody's going to cut it. Not every under 15 player is going to cut it at the under 17 level, at the under 19 level, and as you go up. It's just not going to happen. So I still think we should have the ability, if CARICOM subcommittee on cricket get together with Cricket West Indies and say, hey, what do you need at the lowest levels? Right? How can we help at the lowest levels? Instead of wanting them to dictate that Sammy should get fired and all this kind of madness. Hey, what do you need? What is your 10-year plan? What is your short, medium, long-term plan? How can we help in these areas? Because the way I see it, West Indies, if they were to have a sound plan, it would look like something like 15 years. Right? Based on where we are right now, it would look like something like 15 years. And we've got to be patient, because the biggest problem with West Indies cricket right now, and for the last 30 years, is we've only been trying to replace the senior players. We try to fix this thing at the top, forgetting that the whole foundation has rotted out. Instead of looking and say, okay, our grassroots level suck, we need to fix it.
There's another concern to add to those points. There's another concern I have. You often hear this view that our under 19 teams do well internationally, but yet our players don't transition well to the senior levels.
And that is true.
And yes, it's so it's true. But what I'm concerned about are the reasons why we don't transition well. One of them, or one of the reasons I think we should give serious consideration to, is that whatever flaws our players have in terms of fundamentals, it could be the case that our natural athleticism allows us to dominate or to do well at the under 19, right? But because certain foundational things are not there, when you get to that senior level, those things, those flaws are now going to become problems, and you're not going to be winning games like that, right? Remember with that Sobers high school tournament when Greg took Borbisai to Barbados, right? And he was commenting on I think it was the Bajan team, how he could see how well prepared they were. Even though I don't think at that time they had won the tournament, but he was just amazed at how they played, how they fielded everything. He could see that they were well coached.
The
right?
whole approach to the game.
Good. So I do think when we think of West Indies cricket at the lower levels, right? Certain flaws, we get away with it there, but later on it comes back to haunt us. The other point too is with regard to teenagers. Mommy and daddy, yeah, man, you do your thing, play cricket, we're going to support you. But the mommies and daddies around the Caribbean want their children to have a good future. And so when you hit 2021, it's likely that they're saying, look, John, Mary, what you doing? You need something to fall back on. You got injured last month. Listen what? I got money set aside here for you to go to UWE or university again, or where have you, you got to do something. Or come and work in the store with me. Come and take over the family business or something. So these are all real issues our cricketers are facing. Right? I don't know what your thoughts are on those two things.
So, a couple of things. The natural progression for many years for West Indian under 19 players was to try to get into the first class team. There was no West Indies academy team, right? So I'll give Cricket West Indies their flowers there.
Right, on the academy.
Having a full-time academy team.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why I say people need to be patient with Sammy. People need to be patient, and West Indies need to have at the minimum a 15-year plan. 5, 10, 15, right? So one of the main problems is, as we constantly talk about, is West Indies first class cricket is not fit for purpose. Right? So ex-young player gets into the first class setup. What is he really getting into? How tested is he being in that environment? Right? Is the West Indies first class environment the ideal place for him to get better? The answer currently is no. The second thing, when you talk about parents and their level of involvement, one of the biggest problems in sports in the West Indies is parents can't see a pathway for their children.
Yeah.
Okay, if you tell me you wanna play international cricket, right? I think the territories and Cricket West Indies have got to sit down and make it clear as to what it looks like and what it'll take to get there, right? In football, every child in England, in Germany, in Italy, Spain, they know what they need to do. The parent know what they need to do to get to the English Premier League, to get to the Bundesliga, to get to Serie A, to get to La Liga. Parent knows, right? Parent knows. They know what resources are available. In Guyana, in the West Indies, everything is just haphazard. If you get there, you get there. You understand?
You're just trying a thing.
Exactly. You're just swinging like Shea Hope today in hope. Because that's what Shea did today. He swung in hope, right? So that is like one of the biggest problems that we have. That's why parents are reluctant to go all in with their child, right? So that's another reason why we lose cricketers. Because some of them get to a certain level and they'd be like, there's a lot of politics at the territorial level. There's a lot of good young players who have been lost because of people paying to play. Bribery is a thing. I challenge anybody to tell me different.
Oh yes.
I know stories. You understand? And you got players who are deserving of a spot.
Right.
In the Guyana team or whichever territorial team being denied a spot because they're not willing to do that, to sacrifice their integrity to pay for a position.
And sometimes no money, and sometimes it's not even about money too. Friends.
It's just simple friends.
Friends and big names,
Yeah.
Things, yeah.
So those are a couple of the things that, why some of our players are not moving on to the next level and not succeeding, because the biggest thing is the environment does not cater to it. You understand that we have, when you look at how cricket is played at a first class level in the West Indies, as much as I would sit and watch it, it bothers me. The level of intensity of the game, it's lacking. So now when you come out here and you got to play against Australia and you coming up against Mitchell Stark and all these guys who they're on 100 throughout the day. Let me share something with you. My son said to me the other day, he said, I want to play for Borussia Dortmund. Football, right? You want to play for Borussia Dortmund because he likes what Dortmund does with their young players. He likes how they develop young players and stuff like that. So I turn and tell you, I said, listen, if you want to play for Dortmund, you have to prepare yourself right now like you are playing for Dortmund. Here's why I'm saying this. I don't think, based on what we see, I don't think our players prepare in that mode. You want to play for West Indies, you want to play against Australia. That preparation starts since you're like 10, 11, 12 years old. You understand? In terms of how you're thinking about it. Now, that's on the player side. The coaches, what are the conversations you're having with the players in terms of what the intensity looks like at the first class, on the 15, on the 17, on the 19 first class level? Those conversations need to start at the early age. You understand? Yes, the player might not truly get it, but it's up to you to push them. create that environment that is intense. The reason why the Australians are successful, the reason why the South Africans are successful, the reason why the New Zealanders are successful, the English, is because of the environment. How the play is raised. The Australians are fearless. It don't matter what kind of position they're in. The South Africans are fearless.
Yep. But this comes back to what Simo said the other night, or over a week ago. You know, Mr. Simmons, man.
Yeah.
About part of our problem comes down to competition, or a lack of competition.
Lack of competition.
Right? And, you know, so like whenever I think of India, you know, you imagine a youngster. When you step out your door, you have 10 other youngsters at your doorstep ready to go. They are competing with somebody else. You're not finding that in Guyana?
Not now.
Not now, right?
Yeah.
Or Jamaica or what have you. So you're not getting that from early. And because you're not getting that, then our players are not going through the pressure of having to fight your way through and deal with so many different things, you know.
Because even at the village level, when we used to play in Tokbor, you understand? You still got to fight to make them team. If you ain't good enough, you're not playing.
Yeah.
This not,
and you're not buying your way onto a team there.
You're buying your way onto nothing. You understand?
Yeah.
When you see we show up at the ball field in Tokbor there, and when the man say, well, we picking with 22, 11, and enough men never used to get picked because you're not good enough. We are in an era right now where they're saying, oh, everybody got to play. And that's part of the problem. You understand? No, everybody ain't got to play.
No.
Go and step your game up and come back. You got to earn this thing. You understand? Young cricketers today, young footballers today don't know about earning this thing. They believe that it's just like in the schools with this whole no child left behind nonsense. Sometimes you got to be left behind to come back good.
Yeah.
I repeated third farm. You know why? Because I wasn't good enough. I damn well made sure the next year I was good enough. You understand? I am happy that Multi didn't say, all right, Glenn, I didn't do well. The next year, I made sure I got into my books. I took my studies seriously.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, that social pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kids today don't have that pressure. Everybody believe they gotta play. No, everybody gotta earn. It's a difference. If everybody gotta play, you're gonna have the quality that you need. And that's part of the problem today.
Yeah.
Right? Competition. Oh my goodness gracious. Man steer the ball straight in Moti hand. And Moti put it down. At sharp third man. Oh my goodness. And the man gonna make 50.
Now was?
Yeah. They needed this wicket.
Yeah, because I'm seeing the ball like a football now.
Exactly. The man steered the ball straight to Moti. The ball didn't even touch Moti hand. It gone knock in the bread basket. Jesus Christ, man.
So Moti did a king there. Well, that's what it reminded me of. Reminded me of Bridgetown there, man.
Yeah, man.
Well,
27 from 18. 27 from 18.
Boy.
It's a summer of drop catches. Teja need to do a name, a remix.
A remix.
Full of energy, full of drop catches.
Yeah, boy. See Seals. What is that, Moti?
Yep.
I don't know.
That you see.
Yeah.
When you here's a problem that West Indies is going to have, and West Indies cricket fans got to understand, right? We don't have anyone in any of the three formats that's accustomed to winning.
Mm.
You understand? No one is accustomed to winning. You didn't have a winning culture like we had back in the early to mid 90s, 80s, 70s. You understand? You didn't have a winning culture. You don't have a winning culture. So important moments like these are always going to be lost. The drop catches at critical moments.
Yeah. So Walter was saying that the Garfield Sobers tournament, it wasn't a Bajan team, it was a team from England, apparently, coached by Julian Fontaine.
Okay, former West Indies fielding coach.
And apparently they lost all their games. But even though they lost their games, you could see that fundamentally they were solid. They had a foundation about them.
Yeah.
And I a young fellas coming to probably the first time they're in the Caribbean, that might have affected certain things, but yeah.
Listen, with young players, that's why I continue to say there's a hyper focus on winning at the different age group levels and a team level. With young players, your focus should be development.
Right.
What you didn't do good today, did you do it good the next day?
Next day, right.
You understand? Are you making incremental progress? Right? Because ultimately, the expectation is when these players get to, if they do make it to that level, right? They would have conquered the basics, or not say they become better at the basics. Because these games all it is about doing the basics longer.
Correct. Yeah.
That's all it
It's
is.
Repeat.
Yes. It's repeating the basics longer.
Yeah, I know that's fundamental across sports, man. I mean, I remember years ago, Joshua was like in grade 1, maybe. And at the lower levels, all the boys would play football, right? So one afternoon, I'm going to pick him up from the football field. And it was raining slightly, so the coach had him under the shed. And as I walk in, I just hear coach saying to them, he says, I know y'all like Messi and Ronaldo and so on and all the nice moves they make on the field and what have you. And he said for them to perfect that, they were constantly repeating those things. So instead of doing 100 different moves, you do one move 100 times.
Yeah.
You perfect that, you know? And I smile to myself because repetition is what I talk to students about at the university.
Yeah.
So it's not only in sports, but the repetition you do in the classroom is slightly different in that you're repeating a particular concept but you're doing it from different angles. You know, you might have a piece of assignment, you have a presentation, you do something in class, you know, but all of that is just repeating so you deepen your understanding of it. So we're coming down to the, what you have there now. Whoa.
So Blades just ran and bowler over the waist, no ball. And like I said, these are the things these are the little moments where West Indies lose games, right? These are the little moments that we end up losing games, because when we're supposed to lock in and do the basics right, because right now you don't need to do anything extraordinary, right? You just need to go there and put the ball on a line and a length and ask the batsman to do the fetching. 12 balls, what's that, 13 runs?
I seen 12 for 12.
Oh, yeah, 12 for 12, 12 for 12. There was a moment where it was 90-something runs, I think 68 balls. And then we stopped executing properly. I think Shamar's last 2 overs has gone for in excess of 14, 15 runs or whatever the case it might be. And here's where I have a problem. There's like 6 or 7 different players with shoulders dropped, heads down. So you've already lost the game here.
Mentally.
Yeah, you've already lost the game there. 1996 West Indies versus Australia World Cup semi-final. West Indies all but win the game.
That's when Chandapal had opened the batting for us, right? Yeah.
It did something.
You know, I think I was doing some mock exam, you know.
Yeah.
I doing some mock exam because that, you know.
I try to remember what exam we had.
When the game is going on is school time for us, right?
Yeah, it was school time for us.
And you know, of course, people in the community nearby, all you hear is big noise, you know, you in the
the reason why I brought up that game, because it was a similar score line West Indies had to make.
Yeah.
But at no point in time the Australians looked like they were beaten.
Right. And because we batted second.
Yeah, we batted second.
Yeah.
Shamar starts with a wide.
That has been, I think his first ball today was a wide down the leg side.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was, I chalked it, I said, all right. You know, it's a loose, you know.
Yeah, he's not repeating his action. Or I should say he's not finishing his action. Evan Lewis just now was sitting on the boundary ropes. Blades was on his haunches. Brandon King was looking like, all right, let's just get this over with. We got to. It's the little things we got to fix. It's the little things we got to fix. In the interim, it's the little things we got to fix. You know, Reds was saying that we were outplayed in those 3 test matches. And I beg to differ. Jesus Christ. Shamar goes in the slot, and this man gives him a Dhoni-like shot. Helicopter. All wrist, all wrist.
But yeah, you know, in this chase, the one of the things that worked for Pakistan and definitely hurt us was wickets. So even
Yeah,
when they were like a little below us in terms of runs on the board,
yeah,
we had the wickets.
yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Mm.
From 200 for 4 to 280 all out. 6 wickets for 80 runs.
Mm.
That can't happen in 9 overs. That can't happen. You're not going to win many matches like that, right? You're just not going to win many matches like that. You have to understand the moments. Shamar didn't finish. He didn't. You know, this is why it's fourth one day international. He didn't finish as this 10 over spell at all. You needed to finish. You really needed to finish. Both him and Jaden Seals. But I think Moti might gotta give them money paycheck for this game. Because at that junction is a new batsman coming in.
Correct.
You understand?
Yeah.
What was the 30? I think it was like 28 or either 28 or 29 runs on left.
Mm.
New batsman in, 3 overs to go.
And this must be a sick joke.
Yeah.
48 over 5 balls. Ours was what, 49 overs, right? So 1 ball less than us.
Exactly. That is why you need to bat your allotment.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly why you need to bat your allotment of overs.
5 wickets on 7 balls remaining.
The person who Moti dropped is the person that made that top score.
63.
Yeah.
And the highest strike rate,
Yeah, the highest
160.
strike rate.
Now you imagine the pressure with him out.
Exactly. So West Indies have to in the second match have to understand the moments. You understand? The Evan Lewis moment, the Shea Hope moment, the Roston Chase moment. Speaking of which, Roston Chase out to a similar shot in one of the T20 games. Just when he was looking like he could push on, was out to a similar shot. If you're gonna play that shot, you there has to be some more intention in it. You can't just flick your wrists. Sometimes if you wanna go big, you gotta go big.
Right.
Little bit more care with the batting. I seriously believe 340 was on the cards today. I seriously believe 340 was on the cards. Little bit more care. The bowlers didn't finish well. They didn't finish well. Because even when Rizwan was out, the game was still set up for us to put pressure on Pakistan, and they actually blinked,
right?
Because Moti dropped the catch.
Yeah. So Roger Lockham is saying I was in mock exam for food and nutrition, and Walter was outside multi-cafeteria and hollering that we lose. God, the lock up say he couldn't write the exam anymore.
Why?
He said that one still hurt.
Yeah, still hurts.
Cause you know the 90s there. Boy, I think every school boy and girl who was into cricket, West Indies cricket, they like the Australians.
Yeah.
Well, most of us. I mean, I had
Yeah.
some folks who did back Australia. Let me not say that. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some people.
Yeah, like Bernard and Vikram.
Yeah.
And I think Nastasio.
Yeah.
They're back
That
Australia.
was, I think that was the best chance West Indies had of winning the World Cup again. I think that was the best chance.
Right. '96, boy.
Anyways, top of our fans. It was good chatting it up with y'all tonight. I couldn't personally get to check the chat because
Yeah.
It up here, so but
Yeah,
Sammy's
Raja and Walter.
Yeah.
And Fidel De Silva. Hail up Fidel.
Yeah, man.
That's another loss, another L. All right, let me see what Sunday brings.
Yep. Let's see what Sunday brings. Sunday's a morning game.
Yeah.
Early doors.
Early doors.
Anyway, Sam.
All right.
Good chopping it up to you tonight. Top of our fans. The video will be up. The live will still be up. You can go visit it, watch it in its entirety, whole hour and change. West Indies got to go back to the drawing board. We got to do things differently in the next game.
Yeah,
most importantly, we are allotment of overs and understanding the moments.
Yeah, hopefully it's 2-1 in our favor, not Pakistan. Let's see.
Yeah, let's reverse the T20
score line.
Yeah, let's reverse the T20 score line. All right, Sam.
All right.
Catch you.